Aron Snyder with Born Primitive Outdoor, and today I wanted to go over kind of the system that I've found the best for what I do, and I guess the rivers and things like that I'm fishing for fly fishing. I've recently got into fly fishing pretty heavy. I had dry fly fish quite a bit before, and I fly fish for pike and muskie, but you know, again, not as much. I was mostly into bow hunting, and so now I'm kind of addicted to this, but it took me a while to find a good system. Now, when I started fly fishing with my buddy Dan, it was in February, early February, late January, and it was really cold. So that was kind of an issue we had to work around. And we're also fishing from a Flycraft raft, a Clackacraft drift boat. We're wade fishing. We've got a lot going on, and we're nymph fishing right now, but that's transitioned into streamer fishing, which is now transitioning into night fishing and dry fly fishing. So I needed a system that could do quite a bit. And when I say that, when I'm in the boat, I don't need that much, but when I'm wade fishing, we're wading quite far, and you know, I'm gonna need a jacket and food and things like that. So a lot going on with that. So the first thing that I had to, the first speed bump I had to get over was my hands. I have Raynaud's, my hands get really cold. And so, you know, there's only so much abuse I can take in that 18 to 25 degree weather. So the first thing I got was a marsupial gear hand warmer. And obviously when I have this on, I can't go super deep into the water, which really isn't a problem. I can always take it off if I have to. But I wear this, and I have 4 18-hour hot hands hand warmers in there at one time. So I am able to warm my hands up real quick. And then I'll also have either Orvis synthetic fingerless gloves or merino wool fingerless gloves or wool fingerless gloves. I'll use those. And when I'm paddling the raft, I have a full set of leather insulated mittens that I'll use for paddling in the raft. But this here is on me all the time when it's cold. And again, yep, I can't go super deep in the water, but that's fine. And I've got my hands warmed up. In here, my cell phone fits in this pocket. Obviously, again, I can't go that deep, but snacks fit in that pocket as well as Copenhagen or Zen or whatever you like. So marsupial gear hand warmer. The next crisis I had was the net. Mother of God, there was like 75,000 nets and none of them were very good. So the first issue I had too small of a net. The fishery that I'm on, 16 to 22 inches isn't out of the question, and even bigger on some of the brown trout. So I needed a decent sized net. For my boat net, I have a really big fish pond net, and it's great. But this is an Orvis net, and I use this on my person all the time. We've had a couple fish that we had a little bit of trouble getting in there. That's not a fish story, but this thing has been awesome. It's very lightweight, and you don't look like a total goober having a boat net on your back, and the handle's good enough. I mean, running a 10-foot nymph leader and trying to net, I'm not exactly, the pinnacle of flexibility. So the Orvis net's been great, but I need to be able to put it from my chest rig to my backpack and do that with relative ease. So what I came up with wasn't a magnet and stuff, because those magnets only work for small nets. This is a gear keeper, and this is the heavy duty retractor. So I just have this clipped on my back and just let it swing around when I'm wade fishing, as I'm fishing. Now, if I need to transfer this over, I can unclip this and clip it right here to the pack and put that on my pack. And then this is the Orvis chest rig and the Orvis bug out backpack. This backpack actually has a slot. Pick this up off the ground. That if I'm traveling a far distance, I can just put it back there. Then when I get to where I'm fishing, I clip this either onto my backpack or my chest rig, and I can have my my net clipped to my chest rig. I'll flip it forward, throw my backpack on, and then flip this back, and it works pretty well. So I'm going to get this net out of the way, but this Orvis net is pretty awesome. It's carbon, it's super lightweight. So as far as the retractor, I broke this one actually, but That still works. I just put a surgeon's knot in there and I can hook a carabiner with my net, but it's the Gear Keeper, but multiple companies make these and I like it a lot better than the magnet and the bungee thing. So as far as this goes, again, this is the Orvis chest rig. This has a slot in it for my tippet, which I love because I really don't like it below here like some of the other systems I had, because the cord can get hung, or your fly line can get hung up in that. And again, when I started, I had a waist pack for a while, I had a sling pack, and I just didn't like that. So this allows me to have whatever tippet I need, whatever weights, you know, the nymphs, the flies, whatever else. So I've got that. Now these, I had a few different hemostats that I used, but these are Umpqua. There's another company that makes some really good ones that have scissors, but I like the mitten system the best. And when I say mitten, I just squeeze this all the way and they pop open and then they're closed. And so that allows me, when I can't feel my fingers, to get a handle on those, and those clip right here. And I've got the same system on the shoulder strap. So that's one thing I should add. You can detach this harness and clip this chest pack to this backpack, which is also pretty nice. This is just everything from 2X to 5X tippet. Actually, that's a lie, to 4X tippet. And, you know, ready to go. I've got a little foamy pad here. Now this foamy pad, I actually have a small tackle box with Velcro on the back, and sometimes I'll run that instead of the foam. When I get inside of here, I've got a lot of room, but these are 2 boxes, and these are either my midges or smaller flies. I've got everything from zebra midges and all kinds of other crap in here. And then here, I've got, now this is a Tactical Max box from Fulling Mill, but this has a ton of my larger flies in it, and this is everything from patch rubber legs, I've got chronomids, I got everything in here, and then in there I've got my smaller flies. What I also have, because I didn't clean this, is one of my systems that I should have untied, or should have taken out of there. Here, this is basically an Orvis, I don't actually know what they call this, but I'm able, when I'm running inline, and there'll be another video on that, I have the inline system set up because I have a barrel swivel, and I run 10 inches a leader, a weighted fly, and then 16 inches a leader and a lighter nymph. But either way, I have those pre-tied up on here. I'll go into that in a different video. There's a zippered pocket here that has my driver's license, that has some tapered leaders, things like that inside of it. You do also have 2 pockets in here, kind of hard to see, and then you have another pocket in here. I don't really use those that much, other than this pocket here. I put my cell phone, and I have an extra strike indicator in there, or bobber. Up here is pretty simple. I've got weights, I've got some barrel swivels in here, some tungsten putty, crap like that. I have a lot of extra room in there. I can put my cell phone in there really easy. There isn't that much stuff I need. Over here, I've got, these are Orvis just nippers, and then I have enough room left in this that I'll either have sunscreen, a protein bar, something, but I leave extra room in there. Over here, in this pocket, this is just my glasses case or cover, which I use to clean them off, and then my inReach. And that inReach I keep on me all the time. It's just good practice. So I've got all that room for that, and I'm gonna put this stuff away. And again, I've got extra room in this if I need it. This is just the most efficient I've found. I don't always bring this with me, but this allows me to do, this system, is I can very quickly and very easily pull these fly boxes out and go to my dry fly boxes or some of my smaller streamer boxes. So moving on, and again, I really can't believe I left that in there, but I have a tungsten nymph here, and this is a Ray Charles. And when I was talking about earlier those pre-tied up systems, I've already got this already tied up, and in that Orvis box, I can actually just tie this straight to my barrel swivel and run it really quick. So anyway, another video for that. So the backpack. This thing is pretty badass. Now I will say when I'm carrying more stuff, there's a Mystery Ranch kind of everyday carry pack that I will use because I can fit bigger tackle boxes in it. But this one right here is what I use the most. So you can open this up in the back. And back here, I have Chameleon, Ultra Green. I've got some swivels in there. What else do I have in there? Amnesia. Got a little bit of everything to make leaders if I need to, multiple different types. In this other zippered pocket, this is high and dry. This is Desica powder. I've got fly floating. Again, we're in that transitional time of year where maybe nymphing in the morning, dry fly fishing in the day. This big pocket here, depending upon what kind of streamer boxes I may have on me, this will fit one of my big streamer boxes. But right now, I have some of my dry flies in here. Blue wing olives are a big one right now, so I have those from emergers and everything else, just dry flies. But I have a ton of room. I can fit more fly boxes in here if I need to. And the way I have my fly box system set up is if I'm going from nymphs to dry flies, I just pop those out into here, pop these into there. I've got everything I need on my chest ready to go. So, and I'm sure I showed you, these are zippered pockets. There's lots of options in there, and I got a lot of room there. Up top here, so this right here, I actually, because we're going night fishing soon, I have just these big pucks with mice patterns in there, different mice patterns. I normally don't have those in this pocket. I normally have a set of Gators eyewear glasses, whether that be polarized or clear vision glasses. Usually it's my clear vision glasses for a backup because I have Gators polarized prescription glasses, but when it gets darker, those aren't great because it's dark, and so I'll swap them out. But either way, I wear contacts, so this is usually my glasses. I'm trying to get through this video quick, but I'm rambling on. Up here, up top, I have lens wipes up here. I have an extra set of contacts. I have sunscreen. I'm probably forgetting some stuff. When I say lens wipes, these here, this is a wet and a dry. That's for my glasses. That's for my phone, my camera gear if I have that. And that's in that pocket. I'm generally going to put my car keys in there as well. When I open this up, this tippet here is fluorocarbon. This is mono. So this is what I'm going to use for my dry flies. And I've got this up here, up top again, so I can swap everything over to my chest rig if needed. This is a big chamois. I keep this on again for my glasses, my phone, if I need to dry my hands off, whatever. I have Really Right Stuff tripod. I try not to take photos of fish when I'm solo because it about kills the fish if you're not careful, but I will keep this on me occasionally to get a photo. And when you look at this from the top down, I can actually unzip this to go into the main compartment if I needed to. And in fact, I've never actually done that. I keep this separated. Sometimes I'm going to have my fly boxes up here. Sometimes I may have all my DJI Mimo thing or whatever the hell, my Leica Q2 camera. That stuff may be up here, but I've got good organization with that. Now I'm going to zip this up, and over here or back here, this is a spot where I have my Montana Knife Company knife. I generally don't keep the fish on the fishery I've been fishing, but in the high country I will, and this is a great knife, all-around knife, and I'll have that on me all the time. I'm reaching in there. I generally have some type of Blistex, or my nose gets raw and it drips all the time. I got something in there to put on my nose, basically, but it's not in there, so I don't know where it's at. This here is for a water bottle, but it's like Go-Go Gadget. You can drop this tube out the bottom. And so if I'm going to carry in 2 fishing rods and I keep one together, or I'm going to carry one and put it together when I get there for the tube, I can put that fly rod in there in its tube, strap it on with this compression strap here. If I'm carrying a tripod, I can put that in there, or my water bottle. Generally, if I have 2 rods, I may have a nymphing rod or a dry fly rod, and then this may be my streamer rod that I'll put together later. And when you're looking at all this stuff, it gets a little bit confusing because with nymphing, I build my own leaders. Dry fly, I have a tapered leader. And then when I'm running sinking line, I have a leader that I built, but that's a totally different system. So now we're going in to the side of this, which is, you can see why they call this the bug out. So here I've got some of my streamers in these boxes, and I can still fit more in there. This is my survival pack, and I've got everything in here from fire starter. I've got an extra set of electric hot hands. I've got P-cord in there. I have got headlamps in here, pain pills. I've got some drink mix. I've got all kinds of stuff in there. So that's like my survival pack, but I actually have 3 headlamps in there right now because we're planning on going night fishing. Then I have my extra spools for my different reels. So I have mostly the Hydros reels from Orvis. So I can take my 6-weight Helios F, which I'll use for one type of fishing, and I'll have a, let's say, MPX or a Nadros, or I'll have one type of fly line that I use for chucking either dry flies or chucking my nymph rig. And then I'll have, let's say, that same Hydro 6-weight, but I have a Helios D 6-weight, and I will have my sink tip line on that. So anyway, these are the extra spools, and those are for my 6-weights and my 5-weights. I fish streamers with a 6-weight. So I still have room left in this. Over here, this has got tapered leaders, and then I've got, this is some Orvis Mirage tippet. This is a different type. I've got Cortland tippet, whatever, a little bit of everything in there. So this allows me to fish everything from streamers with a sink tip line, streamers with a heavier kind of, floating line with a 9-foot leader or whatever I build. I can fish with dry flies, and I can fish with my nymph system. I can do that easily, multiple different types of rods, and I've got everything in here, quick access, easy to use. And again, I can flip-flop swap. I can put streamer boxes, these fit in there, my dry fly boxes fit in there. I've got all the different tippet and leader that I need in here, some survival stuff, camera gear. It's an amazing system. This is the best I've found, and I used a crap load. And if you do any research, I've worked for a backpack company for a third of my life. So I had a pretty good idea what was going to work. So check it out. This stuff is all from Orvis here, as well as that net. Umpqua is what I'm using for the mitten nippers, or mitten hemostats. But again, great system, and I think anyone could use this, no matter if you're on a drift boat or wade fishing. So thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm just getting into fly fishing, and I don't want to pretend like I'm an expert, but this system has been the best.